These two Star Trek episodes aired almost exactly 19 years apart and used the same twist. Star Trek has always been a show that thrives on clever storytelling, moral dilemmas, and the occasional mind-bending twist. From the original series in the 1960s to the ever-expanding universe of modern Star Trek, the franchise has delighted fans with plots that challenge expectations. But sometimes, history has a funny way of repeating itself, or at least, the writers do. Two episodes, aired almost exactly 19 years apart, share a twist so similar that fans can't help but notice. It's a rare case of déjà vu in Starfleet storytelling, and it speaks to how timeless or persistent certain narrative devices can be in science fiction. The first episode comes from Star Trek: The Next Generation's early years. The crew of the USS Enterprise D is sent to investigate a mysterious distress signal from a seemingly abandoned research station. The episode builds tension masterfully, relying on subtle hints and eerie set design. The characters are at their investigative best, piecing together fragments of data that lead to a shocking revelation. The distress signal was actually a trap. Someone, or something, has been manipulating the crew, observing them as part of an experiment. The twist lands perfectly, leaving the audience questioning who can be trusted in the vast, cold reaches of space. Fast forward 19 years, and the same narrative kernel reappears in a Star Trek Discovery episode. Again, the crew encounters what seems to be a straightforward mission: investigate a communication anomaly, secure the station, and move on. The episode cleverly sets the stage with all the hallmarks of a classic Star Trek thriller: suspenseful music, tense pacing, and morally complex dialogue. But just as in the earlier TNG episode, the apparent problem is a facade. The crew learns, to their dismay, that the station, and by extension, their entire mission, has been orchestrated by an unseen force, turning their actions into a carefully monitored experiment. It's a perfect mirror of the TNG twist, but updated with modern storytelling sensibilities, visual effects, and character dynamics. What makes this repetition fascinating isn't that one episode copied the other. Star Trek has a long tradition of revisiting themes, ideas, and even story structures. The franchise often explores questions of trust, manipulation, and the ethical limits of observation. In both episodes, the twist works because it taps into universal fears: the sense of being watched, the idea that reality isn't as straightforward as it seems, and the tension between duty and autonomy. By airing almost exactly 19 years apart, the episodes illustrate how Star Trek continually returns to these existential questions, updating the trappings while keeping the philosophical core intact. Another layer of intrigue comes from the casting and character choices. The TNG episode leaned on the ensemble's strengths: Picard's moral compass, Data's analytical prowess, and Riker's instinctive leadership. Each character contributed uniquely to the unraveling of the twist, making the revelation both surprising and emotionally resonant. The Discovery episode, in contrast, relied on a newer generation of Starfleet officers. While they faced similar narrative beats, their responses were shaped by modern storytelling conventions: faster pacing, more morally ambiguous decisions, and higher stakes due to the serialized nature of the show. Comparing the two, fans can see how Star Trek's approach to tension and character development evolved over 2 decades. It's also worth noting the visual storytelling. In TNG, the suspense was achieved through subtle camera angles, quiet corridors, and the eerie hum of the station's failing systems. In Discovery, high-tech visual effects amplified the twist: blinking consoles, holographic anomalies, and space vistas that make the manipulation feel almost omnipotent. The twist is fundamentally the same, but the execution reflects the technological and stylistic advancements of Star Trek over 19 years. Perhaps the most compelling aspect is how these episodes engage with Star Trek's larger philosophical themes. Both stories force the crew, and the audience, to confront questions of free will, morality, and the nature of observation. Are they participants in a story or mere pawns in someone else's experiment? The recurring twist becomes more than a plot device. It's a lens through which Star Trek examines human behavior, curiosity, and the ethics of intervention. Fans have speculated whether these similarities are intentional homages or unconscious echoes. Given the franchise's respect for its own history, it's not hard to imagine the newer writers being aware of TNG's storyline and wanting to pay subtle tribute while telling a story that feels fresh. Star Trek thrives on intertextuality. Its episodes often converse with one another across decades, creating a rich tapestry where past and present intersect. In the end, these two episodes serve as a testament to Star Trek's enduring ability to reinvent familiar ideas. A twist that worked in the late 1980s could still thrill audiences in the 21st century, proving that while technology and aesthetics evolve, the core of great storytelling remains timeless. Whether you're a TNG purist or a Discovery devotee, recognizing this connection adds a layer of depth to the viewing experience, a reminder that Star Trek, at its heart, is always about exploring,